Hello, welcome to March. We are almost through this winter. We are almost to spring. And the thing that, okay, so with all the different energies that have been floating around, I always start off with this one. I mean, we just had a 7 planetary alignment. I don't know if you felt it over the weekend, but like everybody was just a little bit off and not in like a really bad way, right? They were just, something was a little bit different. And but I don't think anybody could really put a finger on it. It's almost like the time came where we knew that we'd be able to make some change, that we knew that, the shift has happened, did happen, was going to happen, and then we did it. And that was good. But a lot of people are like, now what? You know what I mean? So I feel that there are probably two categories of people right now. Um, One is that you know your cycle's coming to an end now, right? We've been talking about these cycles, we've been talking about all these things about how it's either going to start around this time or like end around this time or end closer to the end of the end of the year, like November time. um and so some people they're at the end. Okay, so they're at the end and they're kind of in this disbelief, like it's over. Like, what do you mean it's over? Oh, thank goodness it's over. But now what do I do? Right? Because they're feeling like, I don't need all of these mechanisms. I don't need all of these things that I've been doing anymore. But who am I without them? And so let's talk about that first. Okay. So, who am I without all of the coping mechanisms and all the things that I've been using to keep myself kind of like sane through the past however many years, right? We've talked a lot about releasing things. We've talked a lot about choosing our path. We've spoken a lot about, ego versus self last month. Um, it's time to really start utilizing some of the tools that we have spoken about. I feel that when we talk about things in the what if category, right? Sometimes we can always like find a little bit of it that makes sense, a little bit of it that you can kind of pinpoint or put focus on in at some level in your life, but not always is it like slam dunk, you know, this is true, this is what I need, this is what I've been waiting for. Okay. And so with each teaching and each thing that we've done over the past year and a bit, um, there's going to be a little bit of each of those things that we've practiced, each of those things that we've taught and spoken about that we'll be able to utilize right now that we're finishing up that cycle and actually no longer needing the things. So revisiting relationships, revisiting, reactions, revisiting how you're feeling, revisiting what you do, all these things. Don't allow it to overwhelm you. Don't allow it to be like, oh my God, I got to reinvent myself now. Like, no, that is not the point. Taking the time to acknowledge and understand what you no longer need, and then just asking yourself with the tools that you have in your little light toolkit, what can I utilize to work through this or forward and figure out what it is that I need to do from now on, or what I want to do from now on. That's more of a better way to put it. Okay. So relish in this, enjoy it, be happy that this cycle is over, that these things are, you can see the end of the light of the tunnel and it's like just over there. It's not even that far away. I'll share with you a little bit of my own experience. I'm finding that I've just received a bunch of information about some people in my life, and that is the end of like a contractual agreement. It's the end of a cycle that has been going on for most of my life. And I am just in awe of, how did I even bring this forward? How did we even get to this point? How did I get through this? Right? I know the date that it's going to end. I know the date that this person's going to leave my life. Well, I guess not leave my life, but that that it's going to be finalized. And I don't know what I'm going to do after, right? And I'm not scared of it. I'm happy with it, but it's almost like, now what's the next thing? Now what do we want to do? And I don't know that I really want to search and find something new, right? Because of course there's going to be something new. Um, but I want to take this time where I'm not working and growing and shifting in a contractual sense or like a large relationship sense, to really take the time to, just sit with myself and get to know me and remember who I used to be before all this stuff happened. And, just keep adding to the list of all the things that you would potentially do or could potentially do if you didn't have anything holding you back anymore, right? And if we can find patience, again, that word, always that word, if we can find patience in getting to know ourselves, right? Using some of the tools that we established last month with ego versus self, knowing that we don't have to fall back into old patterns because we no longer need them anymore, will definitely be able to allow us to open ourselves up a little bit to find new, to figure out where we want to go and to figure out who we're going to become, I guess. Right? I honestly just want to hang out and enjoy the summertime and not even think about it all. Right? But I guess at the same time, I already know that the next thing's starting. Oh no. This keeps happening all the time. Okay, give me a second here. All right. Sorry about that. I got a new phone and I can't figure out how to use the stupid thing. All right. And we're kind of back. We're not. That's okay. All right, let me just switch cameras here again like we did last time. There we go. Okay, so now for the next group of people, it's not that your cycle is ended yet, but it's almost like you've decided that you know what to do now, right? You either know that you're going to, relinquish control or stop fighting, or you know that you're going to leave or you're going to show up or you're going to do something, okay? Um, Understanding and knowing which direction you want to take as this cycle ends is a whole new ball game too, right? Because it feels like you've gotten a leg up. You feel that you've figured out what your next step is going to be, and it's giving you new life, right? It's almost like the renewal, the spring. This is you moving through, this is you finishing. Okay. So still stay calm, still give yourself some peace, still take the time to acknowledge and rest and work through the things, right? But be proud of the fact that you actually kind of figured something out. If this cycle includes somebody else, it's time to have a discussion with that somebody else that you've got a new outlook on things. Okay. Some of you might be like, well, what's this person going to care if I even have a new outlook on things? Like, why would I even bother saying anything to them? Your new outlook and your shift will support them in either changing their outlook or them shifting. Because if you've shifted and changed, they are no longer working in the same capacity that they were before. Okay, so what I mean by that is, let's just say this is the scenario going in my head, that you're ending a relationship at some capacity. Okay, and this person is used to you responding in a certain way, and now all of a sudden you've changed your path, you've changed your direction, you no longer care. Who knows, right? Communicating this to them will allow them to see that the way that they have been reacting is no longer necessary, because they no longer need to keep themselves safe from how you were reacting. Okay, that's not saying that anybody's in the right or wrong, or that we're not here to do that. That's just saying that we can utilize and take advantage of the work that we've done and how we've shifted by allowing others and giving others the opportunity to do the same. Now, it may not flow as easily as that, right? Ideally, we would be like, hey, I've changed my perspective. And they'd be like, yeah, that sounds good. I'll change my perspective too. And then everything just goes smoothly and finishes up as it's supposed to by the end of the year, right? But other people are going to have their own demons to deal with. And so knowing that you've communicated, don't expect change, right? You're just communicating so then that way they hear it. They need to hear it. A lot of us, we have to remember that the contracts that we have, sorry about the cat. We're babysitting somebody's cat and it just meows like crazy. The contracts that we have, the agreements that we've come to, right, with different souls, with different people, whatever, we never agreed that it was going to be easy, right? We agreed to support them through a difficult time in their life at some capacity. Whether you like that or not is kind of here or there, because you'll understand why you're doing it when you go home, that kind of idea, right? So knowing that any little energetic shift, any little communication that we can do will be beneficial to every party involved. Okay. Especially if this involves children, because it will help them to see that it'll help them to see that the things are coming to an end, or that things are shifting too, right? Because they pick up on our energies all the time, but then at the same time, we condition them to think that we are a certain way. So when we change, we need to be open and honest about that. All right. If you do have any questions specifically about your cycle, about your journey, whatever's happening, do not hesitate to reach out, because we can do an individual kind of reading or an individual discussion, so then you can understand a little bit deeper. It never hurts to ask. It never hurts to dig in a little bit more, because the thing that we're constantly need to remind ourselves is that inner peace, that sanctity, all the like everything we're looking for is not coming from outside of us, it's coming from within us. So if we can take time to connect with our higher self, to connect with our guides, learn more about ourselves and who we are, then we'll be able to help ourselves move forward. We'll be able to help ourselves to heal and switch direction, and yeah, just and be happy, right? I think if we could all find joy and peace in the fact that we are technically our own best friends, right? That we are the person that we really need to get to know the most, then that would change a lot of things. That would change a lot of things immediately, because once you can start liking yourself a little bit more, then it's not so hard to spend so much time with yourself, if that makes any sense. Okay. What else do they have to say? I want everybody to know that the earthquakes, they're not connected. Like, everybody's freaking out. There's a lot. Okay. So there's a lot of what ifs happening. And this whole trade war thing and the changes with the United States and all the stuff, it's almost like they're trying to put up another smoke screen of sorts. And you just stay in your lane. Okay. Just stay in your own lane. Just do what you need to do. Focus on you. Don't allow all that external noise to start creeping in and throwing you off, because it is honestly just going to make things harder. It's going to make things more confusing, and it's not necessary. Okay. So I'm not one to really promote this, but if it makes you feel better for a time being, don't watch the news. Don't talk about Trump. Don't none of it. None of it. Okay? Because where we put our focus is where our focus is going to go. And if we are putting focus on worry and disruption and confusion and fear, then that will become all consuming. Okay? There is someone on here, or there are people who this is reminiscent of the whole COVID thing. Like, the fear is setting in, and it is setting in hard, and it is setting in real. So if you really need to take a step back, it's okay to do so. You can check on your social media, you can check on the news once in a while, but maybe once a week, right? Maybe once every couple days, not every day, twice a day, reading the things, listening to the conspiracies. It's just, it's too much. We've already been through this at a different capacity. Learn from that. Okay. Don't allow yourself to get caught up in that spiral again, because all that's doing is it's drawing your attention away from the things you really need to be focusing on. Okay. I hope that makes sense. Please just give yourself that break and allow yourself to be okay with just being okay. 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 I agree, though. It is a little bit scary. But yeah, it doesn't have to be, because I don't feel, I like to say I don't feel that anything's gonna happen. I'm not getting any signs that anything's gonna happen, but at the same time, like, I'm just as fearful as everybody else. Right? The human is getting in the way. The human always gets in the way. And so choose your path. Choose your path. One day at a time. If it feels like too much, don't do it, right? Same with working on yourself. If it feels like you've been working on yourself a lot and you just need a break, then take a break. We have honestly come into a point where you could honestly just sit back and take a look at things, write down the thoughts that come in your head, and not work on yourself until the first day of spring. Give yourself that little bit of a break. You don't have to do any rituals, you don't have to do any journaling, you don't have to do anything. Put it in your phone to remind yourself to come back to yourself on the first day of spring. But yeah, give yourself that break. First day of spring is going to be significant, because it's almost like we've been trudging through the dark, and on that day, someone's going to flick the light switch on. I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know how that's going to feel. But I feel it coming. And I think a lot, like a lot of people, I want to say, I feel that the world is going to wake up. I feel that something is going to shift, and that's just going to be it. We will see what that is. But I really hope for all of us that it's as easeful and peaceful as it feels. I do have high hopes for March. I do have high hopes for spring. I keep talking about how spring, and a lot of people have been talking about it even starting in January, about how it's like the energetic new year, right? And so I've decided that this month is going to be, the theme's going to be conscious direction. So conscious direction to me is kind of a bit what I've been talking about, is basically you're in the driver's seat. This is your life. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. And this is part of my message all the time. You don't need to look outside of yourself for anything. It is all in there. You don't have to get up and go to a job you don't like. Find a job that you want. You know what I mean? Those are the simple things. Don't like your car? Maybe you can trade it for a different one. Who knows? But you're the one in charge. And you have full capacity to take charge, but we have been trained and conditioned not to. That is where the problem comes in, is we choose to keep ourselves small. We choose to keep ourselves in the situations that we're in. We choose to, I saw a video today, we choose to keep ourselves rolling in the mud. We choose to be pigs. And we choose to just keep rolling in the mud, not even picking ourselves out of it, right? Because that's what you're supposed to do. We're supposed to be human. We're supposed to suffer. But that is the biggest lie. That is the biggest belief, that if I could remove it from everybody's heads, I feel that that would be the most beneficial thing to ever do for anybody. Okay, so know that you can set intention for yourself, you can make conscious choice, you can try to create change, you can do all these things, but you ultimately are the one in control of how things are going, how your reality shows up for you. This one's a hard one. I'm having a really hard time getting this one out, because I can just feel it, and I don't know how to get the words out. I don't know how to describe a feeling. I was even trying to figure out the title of this month's teaching, and I was just like, I could just like send the feeling out to everybody, that would that would do better than choosing the words. All right, let's see what else we've got. They're saying the weather's going to change and it's going to be warm. Things are going to feel comfortable. It's going to be a good year to be a human. It's kind of what they're saying. So if there are things that you want to do, like if you want to camp, if you want to spend time outside, if you want to do more walks, like start planning how you're going to implement that into your life now. Excuse me. How you're going to implement that stuff into your life now before the weather gets here. And really start implementing the change or implementing the plan to make appointments with yourself. Okay, that's the easiest way I can make it sound. If you put it in your phone, you put it in your calendar, this is my appointment with myself every day between 8 and 9, or every day between 5 and 6, or whatever it is. You don't have to plan what you're going to do, right? You may have an idea, like every morning I'm going to go for a walk between 7 and 8 o'clock, right? Some mornings, if you wake up and you don't want to go for a walk, then don't. But don't go do something else. Still spend time with yourself. What is it that you want to do? Maybe you want to journal. Maybe you want to read a book. Maybe you just want to enjoy coffee and look outside the window and see what it would, open the window, feel like what it would like be like to go outside without having to actually go. But spending that time with yourself, for yourself, is going to build some really great relationship. It's going to build accountability. You're going to hold accountability for yourself. And then you can start filling that time with the things that you really want to do. Okay. You can start filling that time with the stuff that feels right, with the things that you feel you've been missing, with the stuff that you want to bring in, right? The things you want to generate or create in your life. That's going to be the time. And if you can honestly at least put half an hour away a day minimum to break out and do something just with you, for you, then do that. Okay. They're saying in my head, like, well, I've got tiny children, I can't do that. And it's like, well, you could, you could decide that this half an hour is walk time and you're going to go for a walk. You're going to time it around nap time, or maybe just after or before, whatever. I don't know. Give the kids a snack, give the kids a tablet. Who knows? But whatever it is you need to do to create that time for yourself, then do that. You may not be alone, but you can be prioritized. And that will be good enough. That will feel right. Okay. They are talking now about so spiritual gifts, intuition, mediumship. These things are going to start coming online. Okay. And it's not that you have to do anything with it, but if you can use it for the good, if you can use it for yourself, then do that. Trust the feelings that are coming through. Trust the intuitive messages that you're getting. If you are hearing from spirit, maybe put up some boundaries. Find someone to learn from. Okay. Because the energies are shifting before the positive. They're raising the vibration, right? And, all these messages and all these different things that are going to start coming through, everybody has an ability at some capacity. Okay. A lot of us have just ignored them for a long period of time. A lot of us just haven't done the healing to get to that point yet, but it's coming online. And the sooner you can become accepting of it, the easier it'll flow. Now, that's not saying you have to use it. Okay. It's not saying that you're all going to become channelers or psychics or mediums or anything along those means by any means. But if you do find that it's coming on, then learn about it, understand about it. So then that way you can either turn it on or off, or be able to manage it properly. Because even though it's beneficial, it's raising your vibration, it at some capacity will feel a little bit uncomfortable, right? Especially if you're not used to it. And what they're saying is, like, there's going to be a lot of religious people that are going to start receiving messages, and it goes against everything they believe in. And that's going to cause a bit of panic. That's going to cause a bit of disruption, where it doesn't need to. they could understand, and they'll make up their own version of what's happening, which is fine. Um, everybody's here. We're not here to judge, right? I can't even believe I'm saying this right now, but I'm gonna keep going with it. Um, yeah, if you start hearing about more and more things happening, stuff happening with people, different things like that, then yeah, just pay attention. Just pay attention. You protect yourself, you worry about you and yours, and others will do the same, right? But it will all balance out. They're saying it's going to take about a year and a half for it to balance out. But then that's like the whole thing that we've been waiting for is this, the evening out of the energies, the new, I don't even know if it's it, no, there, yeah, it's the new earth kind of idea, right? Where some will choose to move forward and some will stay. And I don't know what that looks like. My brain can't comprehend it. And I don't think that we should really focus or worry about what it is trying to say, because when we get there, we'll all experience it in our own capacity. And everybody will experience it differently, which is also confusing. But we're not here to understand the universe. We're here to understand ourselves. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. It's all going to be about balance, creating balance, whatever that looks like for you, but only on that day. Okay, we need to lose rigidity. We need to lose the rigidity of like, if I'm going to set time for myself, I'm only going to do the one thing that I set the time to do. It's like, no, just, you know, do something for you, do something with you, do something, you know what I'm saying? And so if we can lose the rigidity, if we can lose the fact that we constantly feel like we have to have rules, there does not have to be rules for everything that you do. There doesn't have to be a reason why you're doing it. There doesn't have to be an excuse why you don't want to. It just is. If we can just get to the point where I don't need rules, I don't need excuses, I don't need reasons, then you'll just make a decision and be happy with it and move forward. Things will shift so much faster when we get to that point where it can just be like next, 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 next. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that'll be our theme, losing rigidity. Write that down. See where you need to implement it in your life. I'm going to write it down right now also, because I'm pretty sure that I can lose a fair amount of rigidity in my life. Okay. Please let me know if you have any questions about this. I feel like this was a little bit all over, but like I don't quite understand a whole lot of what was coming through either. Like I said, um, it's just one of those things where the shift is happening, the shift is coming. Um, but I feel very much at peace with it. I feel very calm. And if you're finding the same thing where you're like, I'm just here, I'm just floating, what's next? Then lean into that. Don't try to worry yourself into worrying, right? Don't try to change it. Don't try to fight it. Just kind of lean into it and allow the changes and welcome the the expansion and the advancement and all the things that come with peace, because we're just not used to being there, especially with all the stuff that's happening around us. It's like a great big test, right? Who are you going to follow? And, how are you going to remain? Will it be happy or will it be fearful? All right. I hope you have a great month and talk to you soon.